Well, 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 well. Hello, 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 wherever you may be. This is Dr. Willie Jolley.
This is Dee Taylor Jolley.
It's Monday,
It's Labor Day.
September 2nd, Labor Day 2019. And your questions have been, are y'all going to do it tonight? Certainly you're not going to do it tonight. It's Labor Day. And we were considering not doing it tonight. And then my wife said, why not? That was before
We've been out all day.
Went out, and she was asleep all the way back. And she said, I want to go to bed. I said, well, we've already told people we're going to do it now.
Let's do a quick summary.
Let's do a quick summary. First of all, I want to say happy Labor Day to everybody, wherever you may be around the
And it's
country.
the beginning of the school season here.
In America, it's Labor Day. It's the beginning of the new school year have started. And for those who have young people, we encourage you to get some materials to inspire and encourage and motivate them for a great school year, so they'll have great success. Go to WJ Youth Power, and order our youth motivational programs and products, because we want to have great success stories from all of our young people and our parents who are excited and not distracted by their children. For those who are joining us maybe for the first time, we are the authors of the books Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage, the workbook of the same, and the live audio 2 CD seminar. You can get those at jollymarriage.com. Today's the 2nd. Tomorrow is a national holiday. Today is supposed to be a national holiday, but tomorrow is the real national holiday. It's my birthday.
Oh, please.
September the 3rd. I was born. I was actually born on Labor Day. The year I was born, it actually fell on Labor Day. My mom told me she was in labor all day on Labor Day. So we're here tonight. We're celebrating Labor Day
crabs
with beautiful crabs from the wharf that I got to continue our celebration. For those who are not from the Washington area, Baltimore, Maryland, Chesapeake Bay is known for their crabs, and we have a place here called the Wharf, and that's where we go to get crabs, and we've enjoyed them now for the last few days, going to getting some crabs. So
it's Labor Day, and have a little bit of history.
Can you tell us a little bit about
So
Labor
Labor Day started in 1894. That's when it became an official holiday. And in the 1800s, we were in the midst of the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
So we went from an agrarian society to an industrial, that's the machine manufacturing society. And as a result of the fact that people were working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and children were working in factories also for a fraction of what the adults were receiving, and the adults were getting paid. There was no minimum wage.
Right.
And conditions were mostly unsafe in the factories. So as a result of ongoing strikes, from the last one with the Pullman on the railroad, they brought the railroad industry to a halt. And there ended up being riots and just all kinds of fights because working conditions were unsafe. And that was the beginning of the power of the union.
Okay, so
the union developed as a result of wanting to protect workers and their safety.
So what does that have to do with them staying married, happily married? Let me tell you why.
I was going to say, if you're working 24/7,
boom.
How do you find time to have a meaningful, positive relationship?
Right. That's what we want to talk about. You know, the big three things that break up marriage: sex, money, and communication. And if you're not talking to each other because you're working all the time. You're not communicating. You're not having a relationship. You're not having a date night. Many of you know we have stressed, if you've come to any of our seminars or any of our events. By the way, we're having one in October. We want you to go to jollymarriage.com to learn more. But we talk about the power of the date night. And a married couple shared with us early in our marriage that if you want to have a happy marriage, you got to have time together. And you got to make sure it's quality, intentional time. And you should have a date night. And we said
date night means you talk about what's important to each other, or you talk about the challenges. It's just time together.
They said, one person said, well, we go out on dates. How do you respond to that? We go out on dates.
Intentional communication about what's on your heart and what are your challenges.
Well, we talk about that when we're in the car. So I'm giving you the pushback that we get from people who all the time say, well, why you got to have a date night? Or we have a date night. Or how about if we're walking, we got to go to the grocery store. We're walking together. Isn't that a date? No. See, date night, spending time together, and she used the word intentional, where it's focused on
your relationship.
Yep. Now, when you were dating, it was intentional.
Because you wanted to learn more about the other person.
You went to the movies.
You wanted to see if this was going to work, if they were the right one.
Somebody cooked dinner for one or the other. Did I cook dinner for you?
No, sweetheart.
I never cooked dinner for you.
He didn't. He can't cook.
Well, let me clarify that. I cooked breakfast this morning for your family, didn't I? Did I not?
Who cooked the eggs?
But who cooked breakfast? Well, come on, give me a little love here.
You cooked bacon and you did sausage. You said, Dee, do the eggs.
Yeah.
Okay, you did.
All right. So when your family come, I make coffee for them. We had a household of people.
You make coffee. He makes coffee.
I made coffee. I made bacon and eggs. She did the eggs. I did the bacon and the chicken, apple, sausage, and it was fabulous.
It's part of a ritual for my family.
And the family, they loved it. We loved it. Anyway, date night. We have a date night. The couple told us if you want to have a happy marriage, you got to have a date night. Be intentional about continuing to build your relationship. Right.
That's what date night is about.
So, well, they said, well, hey, I don't have no money. We struggling here with finances. We can't have a date night. We got stuff. We don't have the money to do that. How do you respond?
You don't need money for a date night. You just need to be together.
We didn't have
carve out specific time to not talk about the bills, to not talk about the children, to not talk about the challenges.
Let's make sure we got those. One. I don't want you to throw through them so quick. One, it's intentional time every week. You put it in your schedule, just like you put any other important.
You have to schedule your romance.
Real time together, and sometimes you have to schedule romance. Exactly right. But then it's intentional. Now that's first. Second, when you were dating, you probably didn't talk about your bills. You probably didn't talk about children if you had none, or if you came from a blended family, you didn't focus all your time on the children. Talked about each other or what's going on in the other world. That's why we say make it intentional, 1. 2, no talking about bills. 3, don't talk about the children, because children suck up all the air, all the energy, all the time, all the resources if you allow them. So, intentional, no bills, no children, and it doesn't take a penny for you to have a date. We had no money at that point in our lives, or very little.
So what are some options?
Oh, let me finish this talk. I want to make sure they get this. We had very little money. We sat in front of the television in our bedroom with the door open. We told the kids, this is mommy and daddy time. They could walk by. They could go to the bathroom, but they could not come in. This was our time. We ate popcorn that we cooked on our stove, Jiffy Pop. So y'all too young to remember Jiffy Pop popcorn, where you put it on you put it in, boop, 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 and pop, 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 pop. And then Jill and Olympia. So we put this popcorn. We watched our favorite show Thursday night, Hill Street Blues, L.A. Law. Didn't cost us any money. Well, it cost us 99 cents to get the Jiffy popcorn. Okay, it did cost us. Or we buy it by the case, and we can get it for 20 cents a packet if you buy the quantity. Anyway, I don't think it's around anymore. But that was our date. It was intentional. We didn't talk about the kids. We didn't talk about the bills. We sat and watched our favorite show. We held hands and we talked to each other.
The holding hands is important. The holding hands and touching is important because it helps to bond.
Yep, it really does.
The touching.
I touch you all the time.
Yes, you do.
How y'all like her crazy green glasses? She got them last week in Martha's Vineyard. We were in the vineyard. Many of you saw last week. We had a great response from all the people who watched. I want to thank a special shout out. Thank you for their involvement last week. Reverend Paul Sadler and his wife Kim. And hilarious. And Bradley and Terry Thomas. Thank you so much for being part of our show last week. So, date night. So, Labor Day is that people were working 12 hours, 13, 14, 15 hours sometimes at tremendous pressure. It had
and in unsafe conditions.
So that's where labor unions came.
I think we've gotten caught up in it's the holiday, Labor Day, and it's really the start of school. But we need to know that it began as a result of suffering of workers.
Yes.
And if you are working 12 hours a day in the factory and unsafe conditions, what impact does that have on a family? You don't really see your family if you're working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right. How does that help your relationship?
Well, it doesn't, because I think you end up being short, snappy, just very curt, because you're tired. You're broke down.
Right. So we're encouraging people to make whatever your time is. If you're hard working, we know a lot of people work hard and they got long hours.
Thank you. Miss Gretchen loves the crazy glasses.
So we know many people are working hard, and we don't want to discourage hard work. Y'all know I'm a hard worker. I am a hard worker. I want to outwork everybody. I work 6 days a week, typically in my office, making calls, writing books, doing something. But we got certain dictates or certain parameters that we know are critical for our success. One is I take Sundays off. That's our Sabbath or our rest day. We have those who are my friends who are SCA, who are Seventh-day Adventists, and they do Saturday. Whether you do Saturday or Sunday, it's a Sabbath. You take that time away from the office. We do. I do.
It's the mindset.
I take that time away from the office, and that's family day, family time. We go to church. We go to lunch. We take the kids with us if they're around. We go visit friends. We are resting, rejuvenating.
Which is very different than a regular date night. When our regular date night is Thursday night.
Right. Well, first we do that. Second, another parameter.
Hi, Miss Natalie Green, who's watching.
Hey, Natalie. I got some more. I had to get some more because I was tired of not having enough yesterday. I had to get some more. Anyway, second is after intentional day, Sunday, we have a date night. Every Thursday night, we have a date night.
Every Thursday night.
The other thing that we do is she cannot, and this is something I want to shout out to some of the people who are workaholics. Now, they may not work in a factory 12 hours, but they bring work to the bedroom. I don't agree with that. I don't recommend that because it conditions you that the bedroom is a place to work. So I have to have a conversation with this one often who says I want to bring her computer. Bedroom is for sleep and romance, not for work.
I do have an issue with that. I like attempting to get on top of my work, and so I bring my computer to bed. So there's not enough room for the computer and Willie.
I say that don't work.
So the computer loses out. So
so
I'm a little bit better now.
You're much better than you were years ago. So I encourage you to have some parameters. No working in the bedroom as a place for conditioning you to rest, rejuvenate,
and no work
renew.
conversation.
And we don't talk about business and work and business stuff in the bedroom. Don't do it. That's time when I'm talking about, you sure look good to me. You look mighty good to me.
Thank you.
I'm trying to work up on something. If any working, I'm trying to work up on something. You know what I'm saying?
That helps you stay.
Anyway, so it's for romance and rest. Those are parameters.
Oh, I like that. Rest and romance. It's
Rest
good.
and romance. That's what the bedroom's for.
That's good.
And then if you want to do some work, go to your office area or somewhere you've conditioned, you set aside. Might be a kitchen. Some people work in the kitchen. But have a place where you work and then a place where you rest. And then where you romance. I don't romance you in the office, not often at least. I go over your spot and I'll kiss you on your neck. But I mean,
You're a romantic individual.
But hello, let's see. We got Marsha Hobbs, Natalie Green. Who else we got here? We got Olympia, Jill Tweed, Gretchen. Hey, Gretchen.
Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day, everybody. So these are things we want you to do. These parameters. One is you can work. That's why we want to talk about Labor Day. People work themselves into a bad relationship. They work or work themselves out of good relationships. And because they're working all the time and they don't take the same energy to focus on a relationship. They just figure it's be there. Well,
and here's the other thing. When you end up working all the time and that becomes your mate, that becomes your significant other, then and if all of your relationships are just around work, then you can end up with a work spouse.
Ooh, talk about that a little bit. We talked about that.
We touched on that earlier.
Well, not earlier tonight, but
no,
a few
not
shows
earlier.
ago.
Right, in terms of a work spouse.
Well, that came up because the lady said she had a work spouse, or somebody said there was a work spouse. Or one of our seminars.
The whole idea of the work spouse is a result of you spend so much time involved with your how you make your money that the people who are in that environment provide an emotional connection and a satisfaction that perhaps your spouse is not providing.
Yeah.
Because your spouse might not really know that much about what you're doing in your work environment.
Right.
And the work spouse becomes like a partner, is very encouraging, understands what you do, gives you words of encouragement, and until you become to rely more and you end up working more because that person is nurturing your ego also.
So what does that mean? That means you got to take time out to work on your relationship with your spouse and make them feel special, make them feel important.
Well, you need to understand what your spouse does too.
Taking time. I tell a story in my book, Attitude of Excellence, about a couple who Misty, I got to say hi to Misty from NSA and from Chicago, and I told her, you my second daughter. You remind me of my daughter, Latoya, and I just want to say hi to you. So, hey, Misty. So, in the book, Attitude of Excellence, I talk about, hey, Violet. Yeah, that's Violet, yes. But I talk about the fact of a couple who, when they were dating, things were good. They had the first child.
Hey, Stan.
Hey, Stan, love you, man. But before their children started coming, they would date and work at night. I mean, they would work during the day, but they come home and talk to each other about their day at the office or at the workplace, and then they would cook dinner together, and it was really a great relationship. But then they had a child, and then the child started taking some interest, but they still worked together. They cooked together. They watched, but then they had a second child, and the wife was encouraged by the husband because of the cost of child care to stay home because it would be cheaper. But then everything changed. The culture changed. The dynamics changed. And so when he came home from work, he wasn't looking to, now he was the only breadwinner. He had to work a little longer, a little stronger, a little harder. Well, but then he came home tired, and he said, is the food ready? Have you put the kids to bed? They didn't talk anymore about their day. And before long, things started going in separate directions. And one day she called me and said, my marriage is on the rocks. And so we talked about how to get it back on track, and we were able to help them do that. And now they're happily married. But I want to say to you that it's important that you take time for your labor, from your labor, for your relationship. if you're going to work on anything, make sure you make this a priority too. I work on this relationship. I have worked on this relationship for 38 years. Now, you say 38. I've been married 34. It was 4 years of working to get her to even consider saying yes. It took 4 years. How many times did you say no to me?
He's a wild boy.
How many times did you say no?
I
My
don't
wildness.
remember.
You didn't know I was wild then, so you couldn't say I was a wild boy. You couldn't say that. You don't know. You didn't know I was wild. It's only after we got married that you got all the people say he was a wild boy. You had no idea because I was working hard to get your attention. You had no idea. Am I right? Tell the truth. Until
I'm
after.
thinking about it.
Oh, hey there, Kim Moss.
Hey.
So look, I want y'all to, hit love, share. Tell people who need to stay happily married to go get the book. Make love, make money, make it last. Go to Amazon or to jollymarriage.com to get an autographed copy. Get 2 copies, one for you and one for your significant other. Read them together. Just give it to them. Say, be blessed. Thank you for those loves. Keep sending those loves. I see them. All those hearts. And then get the live audio, 2 CDs. Put it in the car while you're driving. Now, we talk about sex in there. You got little children. We talk about sex. Hey, Stan said, D wanted to check your level of commitment to my brother. That's right. That's my brother. That's my brother from another mother. So we are committed to staying married through the tough times. We take time for each other. We don't work. I don't work on Sundays unless I'm speaking at a church, and I do that often, but she's with me. And then we have family time, and we have a date night every week. Every Thursday night, we have a date. Every Thursday night. Now, the kids are gone now, and we still have a date.
So it's important to listen as well as share your thoughts on any subject.
And you got to talk.
It's very important that we be able to listen.
Yep. Right.
And not talk over each other.
4 F's. I have talked to 4 or 5 couples in the last 2 days about the 4 F's. Friendly. You're going to have difficult conversations. Start off always friendly. Friendly. Be friendly. Because when you're hostile, people put up defense mechanisms. Be friendly. Always. Then be frank. Now, the frank is not you did this or you did that. Nah. That's not what I mean by being frank. By frank means here's how, we're pointing like that. No, there are 4 fingers pointing back this way. All right? How it made me feel. What your actions, how they made me feel. I was devalued or I was hurt. It's okay, men, to say you were hurt. I've learned to say, my feelings were hurt. Not just to D, but in other relationships. My daughter or a business person, hey, my feelings were hurt. So we have to have those conversations. So be friendly, be frank, tell the truth, be fair. This is a big one. You want to ask, why did you do that? Or why did that happen? Because sometimes you'll learn something from somebody. I think back to my brother and I had to have that conversation when he was, obviously when he was alive. But we had a conversation about where we were distant because our feelings had been hurt on one thing or the other. And we had to have a 2-hour drive.
So was the interpretation of this? You each had a different interpretation.
Well, I think we weren't communicating, okay? And so during this 2-hour drive to represent my mother at a funeral down in Charlottesville, we had to drive together and we talked. And he said, let me tell you my problem. You did this to me or that to me or you said this or you overlooked me or whatever. And then I thought about it. I said, you're right. And he said, this is how it made me feel. And then I apologized. And I said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Now let me tell you why I did it. Because we had to get it done. Or, I sent it to you. It didn't happen. I had to get it done for Mama's estate or Mama's will or whatever. But I had to make sure everything was done because we knew she was ill. She was. The doctors had told us there was a time limit here. So we had to get everything out of her affairs. And even though we were praying her through, you must prepare and expect good, but prepare. So I was more proactive. And I said, that's why. And he said, oh, I see. And then I said, oh, now let's talk about something you did that hurt my feelings. And he said, oh, I never thought of it like that. I apologize. And we talked, we listened to each other. And when we found out there was something we were doing that was not good or hurtful to the other person, we apologized. Apologize.
Here's the thing. Let me interject.
Oh, friendly, frank, fair. Focus on the end result. Okay, go ahead.
Focus on
positive
end result.
Yeah.
I was sharing with some of our relatives today, my nieces, my nieces, that part of this growing and maturing process is that you have to be honest with yourself in terms of what you're feeling. And I think that many of us are not honest with ourselves in terms of our limitations, in terms of our insecurities. And so how can you share? How can you even listen if you're resentful, if something else is going on, if you don't know really who you are? That's what we were talking about.
But I don't know
today.
what that means. You got to tell me what that means. You got to explain that to me.
What?
If I don't know who I am, I'm thinking I'm knowing who I am. Let's say I'm in this place and I'm mad at the world, but I don't know who I am. What does that mean? I mean, explain that to me.
You say, okay, so you're mad with you're angry. Why are you angry? You're angry because somebody else has a better job? Or why does somebody else have a better job than you? Or why don't you have the right kind of relationship? What is it about you?
So what you're saying
what is it about me?
To be honest with yourself and say, here is where I'm lacking.
Right.
All right. Here's where
I got a limitation.
I got to work on this part of me.
Right. Or why is whatever this is annoying? Let's take something really simple. I had to come to the realization that I am totally anal. And I can be obnoxious because I'm so totally anal, and you're the complete opposite and you're sloppy.
I'm not sloppy. I just am not anal.
See? That's a disagreement right there.
I just see it as completely different. I see it as
the only thing that
creative thinking. You know,
the only thing that I can change is me. That's what I'm saying about becoming honest. Why are you eating a crab? Why are you doing that? Okay, so the point is, I had to work on me before I can effectively, meaningfully, and lovingly deal with you. So because I like everything a certain way, and you don't like that the same way that I do, I have to let some things go. And I was telling somebody that. It was like, well, okay, about travel. I said, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where the next one. I had to let that go because you do so many different things. And if I focused on that, I'm like, every little detailing would drive me crazy. So I had to decide I'm going to let that go. And okay, I've got the black dress and the black uniform. And whenever you say, okay, we're going to do so-and-so, okay, not a problem. I'll be prepared. Because I can't control that.
Okay.
And that would make me...
And you knew your limitations are one of them is that you're anal and that you have some obsession issues about that.
Thank you, dear. But I had to work on me.
OCD. Anyway.
So that I can't change him, and understanding that I can love him and communicate with him.
Right.
Knowing that I can't change him. Okay?
Right. So
I just take him how he is.
So let's go back to Labor Day. People, she already gave you. People started,
yes, we have to pick our battles. Thank you, Yolanda.
Thank you, Yolanda. Yes. You got to pick your battles. And I understand, Ruth Bader Ginsburg said something yesterday. They asked her, she had been married over 50 years when her husband passed, said, what was the secret? She said, you should know that sometimes you must have temporary deafness.
I like that.
Temporary deafness. You're not hearing everything. I mean, you're not responding to everything somebody says. There's sometimes Dee says something. I'm not going. You're picking your battles. That's exactly right. We don't battle about this stuff. And we know y'all know we haven't had an argument literally in over 31 years. And that's the truth.
I had to develop a sense of humor. I really did. I had to develop a sense of humor.
And I had to learn that this ain't no big deal. This is not a big deal. Let's move on. Let's keep going. I don't care.
And that the relationship to me at large is more important than the little than the little things.
stuff. I'm not going to dwell on that little stuff. And if something is bigger that hurts my feelings, I'm going to tell her. Communication. D, that hurt my feelings. D, you were a little rude right there because you were so OCD. You snapped at me. Or D, here's one. D, I called you because I needed to talk to you, and in your rapidity.
I have worked on that. I know you're going to say I hung up on it.
I get down there.
I used to do that.
Bam! And I got to call her back. Hey, I'm trying to talk to you. I got to talk to you. We got to talk about this. We talk about everything, and if we don't, we stop. Beep, put the brakes on.
And I have gotten much better with it because you have told me that I'm short and curt, and I hang up too fast. And so I accept that. I'm like, just give me the bottom line. I don't want to hear this long.
I got to tell her a story, or I got to tell her the explanation.
No.
And it drives her crazy because she wants the bottom line. She's a driver. Just give me the bottom line.
It's just too much.
I'm expressive.
And I explain to him, give me the end, give me the end, and then you can tell me the story.
I say, D, hold on. Just calm down. And then we talk through it. So, folks, that's the way we've stayed married, didn't argue. And we've had our bedroom to be a place of rest and romance. So a lot of stuff we talked about tonight. Let's go back. Recap. One is that Labor Day was established because people were being worked to the fringes.
7 days a week.
7 days a week.
12 hours a day. And there were children working also, even 5 and 6 year olds in the factories. And it was not safe.
Right.
And so if people are working 24/7, you know you're going to be evil. How do you develop a meaningful relationship?
And you didn't have time for your relationship.
Right.
Didn't have time for all the above. So we find time for each other. We make some very strict parameters. One, we have a date night every week. We started when the kids were little. They are now grown and on their own. We still have a date night every Thursday night. Second, and on the date night, we don't talk about bills or the kids. And we don't have to spend money. We can go to Walmart. Second, we take a day to rest and rejuvenate. That's Sunday. Whether yours is you worship on Saturday or Sunday, whether your Sabbath is Saturday or Sunday. It's your day with family. Our time together. We go to church. We go to lunch. We spend time with friends and family members. I do not go in the office. If you send me an email on a Sunday, you will not get a response because I shut it down. I go off the grid. So that's my time with my wife, where I got time with her. We just talk about the worship service. We talk about just what's going on in the world. We communicate. We drive, and we might take a long drive. And I learned that from her parents. Her parents.
Tooling.
They would get in the car on Sunday afternoon after church in their baby blue Mercedes, and they would drive around and look at houses, and they look at property, and that was their thing. And look, we learned that. So that was our time. Have a day where you can get off the grid. You can find time for your family. Because let me tell you something. You can work hard all you want, but you're not going to take any of that with you. And when your last breath comes, and you're not going to be regretting.
You're not going to think, I have one more report to do. Let me live long enough to do one more report. No, you won't think about that.
You're going to think about your family and your loved ones.
And you want to think, well, how will I be remembered?
And what kind of legacy did I leave? Okay, our
time
is up.
Did I do anything?
We went longer than we anticipated.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Look, go to jollymarriage.com, get 2 copies of the book, order the workbook, get the live seminar, and the audio book version will be available. It's done, so it's coming out this week or next week. All right, thank y'all for being with us. Jolly Marriage, our seminar coming up October. Go to Jolly Marriage, sign up now for our marriage seminar.
Enjoy your Labor Day.
Have a great Labor Day.
Prepare for the school year. If you got little ones,
eat some more crabs. Anyway, love y'all. God bless you.
Jolly
out. God bless y'all. Bye-bye.